stories, some funny, that involve the IRS and various other federal and state and local agencies that collect taxes. Some of the problems are caused by the agency involved, by the taxpayer, by third parties. Some make you want to groan, some make you want to sympathize, and some you just go, duh, that was stupid. In a previous presentation, a fellow Rotarian asked me, why was the IRS so difficult to deal with? Well, I talked to a lot of people at the IRS headquarters, including Chuck Reddick, the commissioner. And they had 5 major concerns at IRS. Training of new hires. You've all run into them. Headcount. They're down almost 20,000 employees in the last decade. More taxpayers, more taxes, more laws, but less employees. Lack of experience. 40% of IRS employees are eligible to retire by 2024. The new Tax Act of December of 17, the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, and obsolete technology, some of which goes back to the 1960s. Now, there are 3 reasons behind these issues. Get ready for it. Yeah. The primary issue is budget. And they are having difficulties with budget. And another major concern revolves around the lack of budget. Say they just don't have enough money. Now, so you understand, 70% of all the revenue collected by the IRS comes through payroll, either as withholding or payroll taxes. So business is doing the heavy lifting for the federal government in collecting taxes and remitting them, and doing so, as all you in business know, without compensation. Now, the real horror story of the U.S. tax system is the U.S. tax system. It's confusing. Former Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld gets confused, and he sent a letter to the IRS with his 2013 tax return, and I'm going to read it because Donald speaks in a way that's a little convoluted. And he says, the tax code is so complex and the forms are so complicated that I know I cannot have any confidence that I know what is being requested, and therefore I cannot and do not know, as I suspect a great many Americans cannot know, whether or not their tax returns are accurate. I do hope that at some point in my lifetime, the U.S. government will simplify the U.S. tax code so that those citizens who sincerely want to pay what they should are able to do it right and know they have done it right. I had a California client who was audited for misclassification of workers. It went back a number of quarters and a number of years, and he ended up paying well into 5 figures just to the state of California. Now, the states and the federal government, whether you misclassify employees intentionally or unintentionally, they don't care. They're going to collect what they want in penalties and interest on top. You can misclassify either employees as independent contractors, vice versa, or you can classify them as salary versus hourly, and vice versa. You don't have a choice in how you do it. There's laws behind all of that. But the Labor Department estimates that 70% of all businesses misclassify employees. Now, you never know the outcome of it all. When I was a new CPA, a number of years ago, my father was audited. Now, my father was a successful businessman, highly educated, a long-term Rotarian in Davenport, Iowa. In fact, that's when I first went to Rotary Club meetings when I was 12 years old. He'd set aside $2,000 for the audit, just to be safe. And he called me because I was the CPA in the family. So I met with the auditor, went through the whole thing, his business returns and his personal returns. And I called him up and I said, I got good news and I got bad news.
Uh-oh.
Which do you want first? He said, give me the bad news. I said, it's $700. He said, oh, well, if that's the bad news, what's the good news? I said, it's a refund. He bought an expensive dinner that night. An audit doesn't mean you owe. An audit means you've been selected. That's all. Don't ever assume that you owe just because you're audited. The client had a problem with collections. The IRS had made a mistake and they were trying to collect on taxes that weren't owed. Well, we filed for that client a collection due process hearing request. It's a form 12153, if you ever need to call. And it supposedly stops all collection efforts. Well, we filed it, we got notice back from the IRS and they received it. And the next day, they took money out of my client's bank account. And I called them up and I said, hey, we filed for a CDP hearing, you can't be doing this. It's supposed to stop all collection efforts. And the agent I got hold of said, well, can you prove you filed it? And I said, oh yeah, I can prove it. And he said, how? I said, well, I have the letter back from the IRS saying they've received it, and they'll be setting a hearing here in the next 60 days. He went out. Well, can you fax that to me? I said, of course, I'll be happy to. And so I did. And my client got his money back the next day. It's the fastest I've ever seen money coming back from the IRS, believe me. And we won the CDP hearing months later. He didn't know the money. Takeaway is, don't assume the worst. It may not happen. Bill was a friend of mine who was a heavy equipment broker. He bought and sold heavy machine tools, big ones. One year, he had sitting in his bank account an extra $100,000 he received, but hadn't had to pay out yet. So he decided he'd move that into his money market account to draw a little interest over the holidays. Well, the money market account was in his personal name. And of course, 2 years later, the IRS said, oh, hey, what about this $100,000 you received that you didn't report as income? You owe tax on it. He said, no, it's just, I owe tax on the interest I earned, but it was just moving the money. And the IRS said, no, it's income and you got to pay tax on it. Well, Bill hired an attorney, not a tax attorney, who wrote a long letter to the IRS explaining why it wasn't income. And the IRS's response was, we don't care. So Bill called me, and I called the examiner, who was let's say he was hard to work with. And so I said, okay, I want to talk to your supervisor, which is always your right as a taxpayer. And I got a hold of the supervisor who basically said, tough, we don't care. So I filed for an appeals hearing, which is always your right as a taxpayer. Several months later, we had an appeals hearing over in Richardson. I went in with all my information, sat down with the appeals officer. He looked through the case and said, well, there's these deductions that really you haven't really proved up. They're about $5,000 in deductions. And I said, well, what about the $100,000 of income? He said, oh, well, that shouldn't have been included. So I gave him the $5,000 in deductions. He said the examiner never should have included it. He was wrong. He should have known better. Guys, sometimes a good CPA is worth their weight. Now, Jack was a friend of mine. He was an ex-pro football player. I worked with him for a while. His wife was a broadcaster in LA. Jack had, after he was in the football industry, came back to Dallas and in the early 80s, decided to sell commercial real estate. Now, for those of you who are approaching my age, selling commercial real estate in Dallas in the 1980s was a disaster. Just, we went through a recession and the banks all sold and it was bank insured. It was a terrible time. Interest rates were running 16%, nobody was borrowing money. Well, Jack worked for a commercial real estate company for 3 years. He got a draw every week, and at the end of 3 years, they let him go, and they sent him a cancellation of debt, 1099. Now, cancellation of debt is income. If you owe somebody money and they say, don't worry about it, we're not going to collect, that's income too. Unless you're insolvent. So, he got examined, and he called me, and I went down and spoke to Heidi, who was the examiner on the case, and went through it, and I explained to her that the COD income wasn't taxable because he was insolvent. And she said, it doesn't matter, it's still income. I said, no, Heidi, you're wrong. It's not income. And she said, oh yeah, it is. And I said, no. Section 108 sub D sub I little e little 2I says it's not income if you're insolvent. She said, no, it's income. I said, fine, Heidi, we'll file an appeals hearing and we'll see you down the line. So I left. She called me the next morning. She said, Mr. Reed, I want to apologize. My supervisor said, you're right. If you can prove up the insolvency, we won't show the income. Well, Jack had bought a commercial building and lost it during the same period of time, and he borrowed a bunch of money from his then mother-in-law, and didn't pay it back because he couldn't. And so Jack and I talked, and I said, well, Jack, you're going to have to go to your ex-mother-in-law and get the proof that you were insolvent, that you owed that money. He didn't want to do it, but he did, and she was frankly glad to see him. It was an old home week. She was just pleased to see him show him like him. She couldn't understand why her daughter divorced him. Anyway, we put all that together, and the problem went away. Takeaway on that is if you know you're right, stand your ground. You may know more than the IRS does. We had a client in Mississippi we were doing payroll for, and we got notice that there was a whole bunch of tax due, and all these periods hadn't been paid. Well, we were a little surprised because, we've got a routine, everything gets paid on a regular basis. So we dug into it, and we had all the canceled checks. So we put all together the proof, sent it to the state of Mississippi, called them and talked to them. Turns out that, they received the checks. Some of them were in suspense. Some have been applied to the wrong period. Some have been applied to the wrong taxpayer. When we asked why, they really didn't have an explanation. They said, well, we probably didn't know where to apply it. Even though the check stub listed the period, the due date, the account number, and the tax time, right on the check stub that went with the check. Again, even when it's in black and white, they may not see the right. We had a client that switched to our payroll service late in the year 1 year. And his previous payroll company, I won't give you their name, but I'll just refer to them by their initials, ADP. Went ahead and filed a W-2 for him, even though they shouldn't have, because he didn't complete the year with it. And he told them such. So we completed the year through the last payroll, and we filed a W-2. Well, 2 years later, the IRS calls and says, hey, you didn't report all your income. We've got these W-2s, and you only reported one of them. And he tried to explain to them that it was wrong. Well, the IRS said, well, you have to have it voided. You have to have it zeroed out, have a W-2C file. Well, the only people that can do that would be ADP. Well, ADP doesn't correct errors after a year. So the client is pretty well stuck. And the examiner's going, we don't care. And once it goes to collection, when it gets to collection, guys, they really don't care. They don't care whether the tax is owed or not. They're just out there to collect money. So, as I told you earlier, I'm a U.S. tax court practitioner. That allows us to file a petition with the U.S. tax court for our clients. It's a $60 fee. Well, 95% of all U.S. tax court cases are settled out of court. The IRS doesn't like to go to court. So we filed a petition with the same facts that we provided to the examining collections. 6 weeks later, I got a call from district council saying, oh, we're just going to accept this the way you said it. We believe you, and we provided proof and so on, and it's going away. And that's all it took, was a $60 position with the U.S. tax court. If you outsource, know the strengths and the weaknesses of the company you outsource to. It's important. We had an optometrist that again, we settled a disagreement with the IRS, and we received from them a notice of case resolution. And on that notice it says in big bold letters, no tax due. You'd think that would be the end of it, right? The Bureau of Fiscal Service, probably never heard of them. They're the people that move money for the government. They decided to start withholding his Medicare reimbursements for his clients for taxes for that tax period. Well, I called them up and said, hey, there's no tax due. And they said, yeah, there's tax due. I said, here, I will fax you a notice of case resolution saying there's no tax due. They said, we don't care. Our records show you those taxes, we're going to keep collecting. I called the IRS, they said, yeah, no taxes are due. I said, can you call the Bureau of Fiscal Service? They said, no. So I called the Taxpayer Advocate's Office, and that's what they're for, is to solve problems that you can't otherwise solve with the service or with the government. It took about 6 months, and they got it resolved, and my client got his money back. Takeaway on this, guys, is no case is ever over till it's over, but you have to know what to do. My mother passed away years ago. We filed our estate tax return, and that's the last one I filed. They're difficult and obtuse. I use somebody else to file estate tax returns. But in the process, we got a notice for a $1,000 penalty, $1,000 even on the estate. Well, I queried him what it was for. And the first guy I talked to couldn't tell me. So I talked to his boss. He couldn't tell me. I talked to his boss. He couldn't tell me. I finally got to a very senior executive, and he researched it, and he said, Mr. Reed, we don't know what the penalty is for. We don't know why you were sent the letter. Okay? Can you just ignore it? And he apologized. Our tax dollars at work, guys. Now, the IRS pays whistleblowers. Pays people who report people who don't, or companies that don't pay taxes. Okay? And they'll pay as much as 15% of the taxes that they collect based on that informant's information. Where do you think most tips to the IRS come from?
Ex-spouses.
Aha! There's a woman that speaks from experience, right? Ex-spouses are the #1 source of tax tips to the IRS. Number 2 is ex-employees. When I'm dealing with a small business, and he's talking about, and they do, they're going to short the register, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, whatever. And I say, don't tell them. Because if the IRS ever asks me about it, I'm not going to lie for you. I'm going to tell them everything you said and exactly how you're doing it. Okay? Don't tell me. Don't tell your employees. Don't let them know what you're doing if you're really going to do this. And for God's sakes, don't tell your spouse. I had a client, a couple. They owned a number of restaurants in Dallas. They've been in the business for years and years and years. And they were turned in by an ex-employee on a false whistleblower claim. The IRS wanted accounting records. Well, we had 10 years of accounting records going back in our files. We photostated that, gave them all to the IRS. They'd agreed to pay us for it. They had to hire attorneys. They paid their attorneys in excess of $100,000 over 2 years. And at the end of 2 years, after all the aggravation and pain and costs they put my client through, the IRS said, never mind, and walked away. All that time, energy, effort, money, and stress on an unsubstantiated claim. The IRS refused to pay my bill, saying I was a company accountant, so they weren't going to do it. I didn't bill my client, I couldn't do it after all that. And the tip is, sometimes you can do everything right, and it's still not enough. Cute story, round and round. A female sole proprietor went into the IRS to resolve a small problem, and at the same time had a return for the business she was going to e-file it. So the agent there looked at it and said, well, there's some errors here, let's correct those before we e-file it. She said, great. They worked through it, corrected them, and he turned it over to the guy who was supposedly going to e-file it. He looked at it and said, oh, there's still some errors on it. So they worked on that. Now she spent about 3 hours in the IRS working on this tax return to file electronically. They file it, and about 6 weeks later, she gets a letter from the IRS and says, dear taxpayer, there are some mistakes on your return and we've corrected them. Round and round, where it stops, nobody knows. Takeaway is, don't feel discouraged if taxes confuse you. Sometimes they confuse the IRS. Did you ever wonder about the 2 criminal investigation agents that walk into an office? Happened to me one day. A man and a woman showed up at my front desk with badges, and that's my receptionist, we still have receptionists, to speak to me. I went up and they showed me their badges. Well, I know what that means. So I took them in, and I got copies of their badges on the photocopy machine and put them in the conference room. And I went and did what I tell my clients to do. If they've got a badge, call your attorney. If they have a badge, they carry a gun. They are law enforcement officers. They can arrest you and haul you down to the local federal holding facility. Got my attorney on the phone, got them on the phone, he asked them why. Turns out, a client of mine had filed a fraudulent lien release to get an SBA loan. One of the CID agents was IRS, one was SBA. I didn't even know the SBA had a criminal investigation division. I'm sure the look on my face proclaimed my innocence because I was just dumbfounded. And he'd been using my name on documents as if I was the officer of the corporation and everything. We went through it all, and the agent said if they needed more information, they'd call me back. They never did. That was my total exposure to the case. However, my client got 2 years in the federal penitentiary. Oh, excuse me, my ex-client. Takeaway, they got a badge. Don't call me. Don't talk to them. Call your attorney. Got a few more minutes. I'm a Rotarian. I know at 1 o'clock everybody gets on. let's get the tax scam. Telltale signs of an IRS scam. There's a lot of verbiage on it in the papers these days and so on, but here's a few tips. The IRS will never call to demand an immediate payment by a specific method, such as a prepaid debit card, gift card, or wire. The IRS will never threaten to bring in the local police and arrest you. I had a Louisville officer the other day at a talk, and he said, yeah, they called me and told me they were going to send the police to arrest me. And I said, well, who are you going to send? Because I know them all. So that was the end of that conversation. They will never demand to be paid without giving you the opportunity to question the debt. They will never ask for credit card numbers or debit card numbers over the phone. And I promise you, the IRS will never call you about an unexpected refund. Thank you very much for your time. I've enjoyed being here. If you have any horror stories you'd like to send to me, I'd love to have them, maybe incorporate them. I'll be glad to give you attribution if you really want it. Cards are in the back, bookmarks are on the table. Any questions? Ma'am?
Because I understand that the IRS never will call anyway about anything, but I've always heard.
No, under certain circumstances, they will call, and they do, in fact, employ private collection agents as well.
I know that part.
But, and those guys have been arrested more than
What do they
once.
call you about?
Taxes.
Over the phone?
Yeah, they actually will call sometimes. It's not often, but if they can't get hold of you at the office, if they can't find you, they'll call and leave word for you to call them back. They'll leave a number and so on and so
So
on.
they're usually following up just correspondence they've sent.
Almost always they're following up on correspondence. It should never be a surprise when they call. Sir?
Sir, you said that a person should appeal if you believe you are in the right.
Absolutely.
And you say that there is a fairly substantial percentage of one appeal.
The IRS, in fiscal year 2018, issued $6.2 billion of employment tax benefits. $3.4 billion of those were abated, were removed, mostly by people like me. The IRS makes millions of egregious errors every year, I promise you. Millions of them.
Back here.
One more?
Somebody have anything?
No? All right, thank you very much.
My horror story was they applied this year they applied my payment to someone else's social security number.
That's not uncommon.
8 months. We'd like to thank you. Appreciate it very much.